Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on in. Bring it on in. Bring it on in. All right, people. Let's get our little Sunday preppy and going into next week. I bring in a little clip to us, guys. This is a clip on the current state of affairs with the BRICS nation and the American dollar losing its position as the main currency for oil. And kind of keynoting into what is going on with that. And somebody has kind of like an altered perspective here at the end. And then we're going to follow that up with some keynotes. Our AFC just getting us prepped for the week ahead. Like I said, we got shorts in a bind, man. They're in a bind. All right, let's go ahead and catch the clip. Let's get into it.
The U.S. dollar has been the world's strongest currency, with central banks using it in over 60% of foreign exchange reserves. It has been the dominant source of world trade. Transactions are made in the U.S. dollar. And as I mentioned, it's been the safe haven for most countries across the world to park their money in dollars. But in 2014, in response to the Russian invasion of Crimea, China and Russia began the process of de-dollarizing their particular business dealings. China wants to become the world's largest reserve currency. Now, it's notable that over the last two decades,
how you laid this out,
the United States dollar has lost 12 percentage points of market share. We went from 71% down to 59%. Now, the Chinese yuan hasn't yet replaced the U.S. dollar, but it's begun to register. About 3% of reserve portfolios are currently sitting in the Chinese yuan. So could the U.S. dollar soon lose its power, and how would that impact the U.S. on the world stage? Let's ask Breitbart economics and finance editor John Carney. John, great to have you this morning. First of all, do you see this as a serious threat? Do you think we could look at a future where the United States dollar is not the world's reserve currency?
I do. Not only a serious threat, I think it is inevitable. We went through three stages, as you said, after World War II. The U.S. was the biggest economy in the world. In the 1970s, global banking became basically dollar-centric. With the fall of the Soviet Union, the entire world, more or less, came under the domination of the U.S. dollar. That is now drifting away. The China and the Russia are starting to build an alternative block of currencies.
So the question, John, becomes how viable is their alternative?
Alternative block of currencies.
How many countries, how many transactions, how much market share
could,
for example, if it becomes the Chinese yuan, take from the U.S. dollar? I've talked to others who said the answer to that question will be a tipping point, and they believe the tipping point would be Saudi Arabia and what they choose to do when it comes to oil transactions. What is your perspective?
It's Saudi money.
Well, the Saudis want to diversify their portfolio.
They said, all right, we're done with the American government.
They don't know who's going to win the contest for the world. And so they do want to make sure that they have some exposure to China and some exposure to the United States. I don't think in the long run that the yuan is actually a threat, that it is ever going to become the dominant currency of the world, because the Chinese communist system is not open enough. The U.S. system is very open. Other countries can trust that our reserve currency, that we're not manipulating it. We allow free foreign exchange. We try to keep inflation very low. We haven't done a good job of that in the last couple of years, but we have a 40-year track record of keeping inflation low, and we're now doing it again. That gives the world a lot more security than China can. And so I don't think China is going to become the dominant currency, and I think Europe and I think our closest allies in Japan will remain on the dollar. And I think the Saudis and most oil countries will want to remain a close relationship with the dollar. However, I do think we're going to have alternate blocks that we haven't had for a long time.
So really quickly, John, I have to follow up then. You don't think the Chinese yuan will become the world's dominant currency or replace the U.S. dollar, but at the beginning of our conversation, you did say you think it's inevitable that we will continue to lose market share as the world's reserve currency. So what do you see? A fractured global market of currencies?
That's right. I think we're returning to a sort of a Cold War basis where you have different
XRP, Cardano. You should be buying you some Tesla, some Nvidia, some VTI. Guys, brace up.
Blocks of economies and different blocks of
gold, silver,
currencies. Look, we are trying to have a smaller trade deficit with China. That's one of the explicit goals of the United States policy right now. If that happens, the trade deficit is what gives China so many dollars. That's why they buy so many treasuries. As we try to cut down on that trade deficit, China naturally will have fewer dollars, which will mean that they need to move into a non-dollar based system. Okay. So this will benefit us as well. It's part of our policy. It hasn't been necessarily great for the U.S. economy to have the whole world work on dollars. It actually could end up being beneficial.
Wow, that's a fascinating perspective that deserves some more
had
attention.
to share that is a good perspective, that there needs to be some diversification of what the standard is. Who knows? Like I said, this seems like a big opening gate to, like we already know, cryptocurrencies, cryptos, exchange, CBDC, all that. This is all just a gateway segment to that. But I felt like that was a good video to show guys of the current state of affairs of what's going on and why we have these hedge funds in such a bind. Just following in with some keynotes that I would like to share with you boys. Hold up. Guys, remember now, obviously, as we saw last time, what's it called? Me excited. As we saw last time, what was I about to say? Short interest is still continuing to rise. This is where we left off at. Friday, again, we saw literally all that attempts at shorting just for us to finish the day slightly positive. They exhausted all streams out. But I want to bring this to us here. Come double check in. Do not forget, going into this week, we have a 25.12% short interest rate. It's 250 million. This is an all-time high that is broken this weekend. Well, actually Friday, but through the weekend. 200 million shares on loan. We're looking for this number to continue to go up. Guys, it's already destroying the fact of that institutions can own 10% and retail owns 90%. This is going up to institutions having 25%. Cost to borrow is at 222.13. The cost to borrow max 454%. And the cost for an average of 408%. They're getting smoked. Utilization 100%. Double tapping in. Hold up. Got to go to that stock track to show us that delicious goose egg. A black swan event. Hey. They're toasted out. Liquidity is dry. They are zero shares. We're watching them struggle. They scooping up whatever. Guys, be on the aware, guys. They might be doing that trick where they're trying to do share lending again. If you have an account, double check and see if your share lending is turned on, turned off. But at this point, it doesn't matter. They can't scrap up enough shares to cover what's going on here. And we are on an official countdown of 27 days. Or what is it? What would it be? 25 days. We're going on a countdown of 25 days. They are coughing up blood, and they got almost a month to go of this. It's getting unruly. It's getting so unruly. It's getting too unruly. Double check in the monies, out the monies. Y'all see our next date coming in here. That'll be on the 6th. It continues to pledge that they're getting smoked. All their calls are out of the money. They falling heavy out of the money. Woo! And of course, I have up here Market Watch. Quick little question to tap in, guys. Is anybody noticing this? Market cap being 7.3 billion. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all put it in the comments, but if the market cap was at 7.3 billion, wouldn't that be somewhere around the shares trading around like 12 to like 14 bucks? I thought that they were just saying last week the market cap was around 3-something billion. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. I just noticed, I know I've seen so many different numbers swinging up here. We've seen 93 billion. We've seen 400 billion, in the last 2 weeks span. I'm just double checking. Is this accurate? Y'all somebody tap in with me and tell me if I'm accurate on that. But guys, listen, tighten up. One last thing to leave off. I forgot to put this. Banks have seen another $126 billion to leave the top 25 banks this week. The bank runs, I don't care what they keep trying to, hey, everything's getting better. Bank runs are continuing to happen. The banking crisis is still raging and liquidity is drying up. Deposits to banks is down $220 billion in the last 2 weeks. So that means that people are pulling their money out, and then people also aren't depositing their money. Where are people depositing money? People are saving their money and buying gold and going into crypto, as you are seeing the crypto market start to lean. Guys, we're in the Black Swan event. This is what we've been looking for. I am trying to see how they're going to go through next week with all this on their back. There is no game. They can't play this game like this. They can't play this game like this. There's no shares. They're dried up now. They're going into the week with 0 shares. Not with 10,000, with 0 shares. Cost of borrowing at 434%, 400%. People too scared to even loan these shares out anyways right now. Oh, no. Guys, proceed to put the knee down. We're stepping into it, guys. We're going into the real abyss right now. We're going right left with these boys right now. And they ain't thrown nothing back in the last week. They haven't thrown a punch back in the last week. They haven't been able to do anything. Oh, all right, short down. All right, in where it was. All right, short down. In where it was. We've seen 3 pops. Friday was that thing wanted to launch off. Thursday, that thing wanted to launch off. They are doing everything they can just to prevent it from launching off. I want to see it. I want to see how Monday goes, man. Hey, but guys, stay ready. Keep your head on the swivel. Have your stuff plan in order. Like I said, get ready. We're going to try to hit these next plays following after this. I feel like our pay time is coming up here. I don't know if y'all feel it, but I'm telling you how I'm feeling. I'm going by what I'm seeing. We're looking at numbers glitching out. We're looking at 0 shares. Just days up on days at 0 shares. Cost of borrow continues to rise. Short interest. We are at 25% like I was saying I want to see. Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm just going by the numbers. Baby. Hey, but y'all hold it down. Hey, I'll see y'all on Monday, baby. Yes, sir.